What is up everyone, I am Demon Cringe, and you know how there are some really bad looking cartoons out there, whether it be because of budget constraints or they were simply trying to freak us the hell out. There are cartoons out there that are so bad they really make you wonder how they got past episode 1. So this is another one of those random equals funny cartoons, you know what I'm talking about, those shows with super poor writing, barely any plot, and annoying characters to boot, and boy oh boy are the characters annoying in this one. But what makes this cartoon really special is when it was made. This cartoon was actually made in 2006, right at the very beginning of the Cartoon Network Dark Ages. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Squirrel Boy.
Hey, Rodney!
Oh, you know everyone, that intro honestly gives me flashbacks. It is so bad it's physically painful. The tune itself is absolutely grating and the stuff of nightmares pretty much, and it only has one word. And you know what they say, when you see an intro like that, you know it's gonna be something else, oh boy. Okay folks, so for this next part right here, you better be ready because you will never ever believe who actually made this cartoon. So, the cartoon Squirrel Boy was made in 2006 for Cartoon Network by Everett Peck. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the exact same Everett Peck that made the critically acclaimed 90s cartoon Duckman. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, honestly. So the show aired from May 28, 2006 to September 27, 2017 with 26 episodes spanning 2 seasons. But even though it only had 26 episodes, Cartoon Network got the bright idea to pad the length of the show and split up the episodes into a staggering 52 segments. I am not lying. 52 segments out of 26 episodes, you cannot make this shit up. And honestly everyone, is it even a big surprise that they ended up doing something like this? I mean, this was the start of the Cartoon Network Dark Ages, so yeah. They started the downward spiral of bad decision after bad decision. So the story of the cartoon can basically be summed up in just one little sentence. The story was about a squirrel called Rodney who lives with his owner Andy and his dysfunctional family, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Although in its defense, I will say that they actually did try to do some subplots, you know, but yeah, most of them just went nowhere, although they did actually manage to complete one subplot, which I gotta give it to them on that one. Now for the characters, obviously first off we have Rodney, one of the two main protagonists, who is a crazy red squirrel and always tries to get Andy's help in his get-rich-quick schemes. He basically tries to make everyone's day miserable with his terrible jokes, annoying voice, and overall stupidity, and he is in love with Darlene. Next up we have Andy Johnson, who is Rodney's owner of course, and he is the typical awkward kid that usually fails at everything. His character design is a reference to the Duckman character, and the fact that his eyes are on his glasses instead of on his head. Bob Johnson is Andy's dad, and he absolutely hates Rodney and loves to show it, and he is also very sad about the fact that he's bald. Of course you can't blame him for that one. Plus he is also a really bad father, because in one episode he actually made his son a bench warmer. Yeah, you know, if I had a son who wasn't good enough to play on the baseball team, I would just tell him, you know, to sit it out instead of just degrading him to the position of a bench warmer, but hey, what do I know? Lucille Johnson is Andy's mom, and her only two character traits are the fact that she is cheery but also has a short temper, and I don't know about you, but I kind of think those two traits would actually conflict with one another, but again, like I said, what do I know, you know? Next up we have the other squirrel character, Darlene, who is Andy's friend and Rodney's love interest. She is basically the typical girl next door who really doesn't have all that much of a description, like, yeah. If you know what the typical girl next door is, then you basically have her character. Now the thing is, like I said, while the show is bad, they did actually manage to, you know, like get Rodney and Darlene, you know, together, and it was like a procedural thing that happened to the show, so yeah, it was pretty much a ongoing subplot that actually had some closure, so again, I gotta say good job on that one. Now of course there are a lot of characters in this cartoon, but honestly a lot of them really don't do much of anything, so I'm just gonna talk about the two main antagonists. So the two main antagonists are Kyle, a schoolyard bully, and his Spanish-talking parrot Salty Mike. Kyle is the dumb spoiled kid, while Mike is smart and full of himself. And honestly folks, when you take a look at these two pictures side by side, you can just honestly see how lazy the character design in this one is. Seriously, they almost have the exact same head shape. I mean, come on. You know, you could have made them look like they're not probably long-lost brothers or something. I mean, if you wanted to make a subplot where they are actually long-lost brothers, you know, that would have been fine. Now, the story itself. Well, like I said, there really isn't much of a story, and only one subplot got completed, that being Rodney and Darlene's relationship. The episodes themselves were mostly just one-offs with barely any of them tying into each other, with a few exceptions, like I said, the Rodney and Darlene episodes. And, of course, like I said, again, They took these 26 episodes and cut them up into 52 segments, which basically means I can't even find the episodes where I wanted to take clips from. Yeah, they're just too many to sift through, and I honestly don't have the patience to go through this whole cartoon again. You know, I don't want to relive the memory. One of the clips I wanted to find are of Rodney and Bob stranded on a boat, among other things, because I really wanted to show that this cartoon wasn't entirely bad, you know? While the majority of the gags and jokes in this cartoon were just bottom of the barrel, the interactions between Rodney and Bob were actually pretty funny in my opinion, and honestly, it would have been so much better if they just made a cartoon centered around these two characters, because they really do function well with each other, honestly. Another clip I wanted to find is of Andy trying to stop himself from laughing for literally a whole goddamn minute, and I wanted to show that as like an example of how much this cartoon just loved to take jokes that usually would be funny and stretch them out like a piece of taffy, you know, drag them out to the point of where you actually just you know, hey, want to yell get on with it and all that stuff. Now, if you just want to imagine how that would go down, you know, picture yourself watching an episode of How I Met Your Mother, and Barney Stinson tries to do a joke, and he's like, wait for it, and him, instead of saying wait for it like maybe 2 or 3 times, he goes on and does that for a whole minute. Yeah, that's basically what the joke was. Now the voice acting, people. Okay, so the voice acting is actually one of the 2 redeeming things about this cartoon, along with, you know, actually managing to wrap out one subplot. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? The majority of the voices in this cartoon are just bland, boring, and all that, but Rodney and Andy actually had good voice actors behind them, if you can believe it. Rodney was actually voiced by Richard Horvitz, who voiced Invader Zim from, of course, Invader Zim, and Billy from Billy and Mandy, while Andy, on the other hand, was voiced by Pamela Adlon, who played Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. Now, honestly, I can't get over not finding the clips that I wanted to show, so I'm gonna do something to make it up to you guys and gals, okay? You obviously won't be expecting this, but bear with me, because what I'm about to read out to you is hilariously bad. Just wait, okay? Just you wait. So when I was looking for info about the show, I actually came across the fan wiki, and I'm gonna be reading a few entries from it, specifically from Rodney and Darlene's entries. Now, you're probably asking yourself, you know, like, why DC? Why are you doing this? Well, because this, ladies and gentlemen, this wiki is a huge Chinese bootleg if I ever saw one. Like, seriously, folks, okay? Trust me on this one. If you are having a bad day, okay? Like, you're just something bad happened, you know, you're stuck in traffic, your boss is yelling at you and all that stuff, just go to this wiki, read something, and laugh your goddamn ass off. Now, let us begin! Okay, so right now I'm on Rodney's page, and I'm gonna be reading out the synopsis between him and Darlene's relationship, okay? Just to get a load of this, okay? Sit back, relax, and just watch the carnage. Okay, so it says, Darlene is Rodney's girlfriends or friends that Rodney has a crush on in Pool for Love that Rodney, like you, his girlfriend's Darlene, built Pool and her loves. In The Greatest Schmo on Earth that Darlene, like you, Rodney has as boyfriends. In Trouble Date that Darlene, like you, Rodney date Andrew's house. In One Pull-Up that Rodney, like you, Darlene, help put pull up as a relationship and ending Hug to Darlene as TGI Tuesday. Darlene danced together with Rodney romantic. In Breaking Up to Eddie that Rodney, like you, his girlfriend date with Darlene. Say Like You boyfriends. In Darlene and Archie that Rodney make broken up with Darlene. Ruin surprise blame Archie and Rodney make heartbroken. In Bagwoes, Rodney returned Darlene's bag as broken up with Darlene. As blame Dream and Rodney keep out to Darlene broken up. In Stranger that Rodney broken up with Darlene and say sorry as blame Archie. And finally Darlene, Rodney accepted as boyfriend say sorry Rodney to be his friends, and Rodney fall back in love with her. Darlene accepted as engagement. Dating Rodney and Darlene enter back loves. In Salty Mike and Darlene that Rodney and Darlene became his girlfriend official and kissed to her. In Merry Christmas Eddie that Rodney kissing cheek to Darlene. Oh my god. Trivial. Rodney is a squirrel red. Rodney is a little. Rodney play video game and together Eddie. Rodney kissed her Darlene as boyfriends. Rodney is Eddie's friend's present. Rodney works together Eddie. Rodney like you coffee as coffee shop. Rodney say gets jealous. Rodney sweater BT. Rodney date with Darlene. Rodney ex Darlene as boyfriends. Okay, so I guess Darlene is a man. Rodney say shut up to Eddie. Rodney scared bumper car. Rodney almost crying by broken up Darlene. Finally, Rodney fall back in love with Darlene to return. Rodney and Darlene as girlfriend official. Rodney kissed Darlene cheek. Oh my god, and there's still another one to go through. Okay, I'm just gonna read through Darlene's entry because this is really starting to kill my brain cells. Rodney is Darlene's friends or boyfriends have relationship romantic and pool for love that Rodney have pool for Darlene say as boyfriends call boys as romantic call Rodney. In the greatest schmo on earth that Darlene hugged Rodney relationship as side Eddie skip and ending hand romantic Rodney at ending credits. Darlene feelings to Rodney in trouble date that Darlene date for Rodney as boyfriends date and feelings to Rodney visit Andrew's house as boyfriends Rodney. Okay. In He Got Blamed that Darlene bad Rodney tree Kyle salty Mike and not friends or boyfriends and her say sorry to Rodney, feelings to Darlene call girlfriends. In this makeup that Rodney thank Darlene as boyfriends and her friends or boyfriends and jealous by Andy friendship saved. And Darlene Frank that Darlene like you Rodney as boyfriends date as Eddie and Melissa is two boyfriends and two girlfriends in a date. In one pull-up that Darlene help Rodney winner to one pull-up and her feelings to Rodney hug broken bones. In breakup to Eddie that Darlene feelings to Rodney as boyfriends say Rodney like you his girlfriends as Eddie's girlfriends call Melissa. In finally episode Darlene and Archie, Darlene breaking up with Rodney out boyfriends and her say I need time alone as heartbroken and stranger that Rodney sad broken up Darlene, but Rodney blame her by her Darlene revenger as Archie has accidentally ruined boyfriends Rodney and back Andrew's house. Darlene say Rodney accepted sorry to the boyfriends and Rodney fall back in love with Darlene as boyfriends back and Salty Mike and Darlene that Rodney and Darlene girlfriend official and end kissed. And Merry Christmas Eddie that Rodney kissing Darlene's cheek. Trivial, Darlene kissed to Rodney as boyfriends. Darlene make friends Melissa works coffee shop. Darlene her fun to Eddie. Darlene wear coffee shop sweater. Darlene have mother works coffee shop. Darlene feelings to Rodney. Darlene named as Darlene, okay. Darlene mentions school gym. Wow, she mentioned a school gym. Can you believe that? Darlene have date with Rodney. Darlene say that blame have as Archie revenger accidentally, okay. Darlene return fall in love with Rodney accepted sorry to hug return boyfriends Rodney. Darlene and CJ friends Rodney kissing cheek to Darlene. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I was not exaggerating. That wiki is truly a marvel of illiteracy, okay? I honestly cannot believe that was not written by a drunken bot. So in closing, I really don't know what the hell they were thinking when they made this cartoon. It honestly did have a lot of potential, and if you watch it, you can see that Everett really wanted to make this cartoon at least somewhat decent. But I do think that Cartoon Network, since of course it was the start of the Dark Ages and a slew of bad decisions, they most likely interfered with the direction it was going in. Ultimately, this cartoon was short-lived because of its bad writing and dragging out jokes to the point of you wanting to smash your TV. It was one of the first of many Random Equals funny cartoons that really doesn't have anything below the surface, and it really does show, since again, it only had 26 episodes, but they stretched it out into 52 segments. It was a sign that Cartoon Network was starting to ditch creativity and imagination in exchange for easily consumable media, kinda like the music industry is today. And all those reasons are why Squirrel Boy is one of the ugliest cartoons ever. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps it up for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe and press the little bell icon, and if you wish to support me in a different way, my Patreon link is in the description below. And as always, I'm Demon Cringe, and I'll be seeing you guys and gals in the next video.